Screw it, we'll drop the gun. What's up guys, this is Chris here, and today we're going to be doing another 1,000-round review. The darling of 2025, the Springfield Kuna. Now the Springfield Kuna brings a lot to the table, a lot of good things, but over our testing at least, we found some bad things as well, so stay tuned for both. Now, before we get into this video, I do want to mention my Patreon supporters. Thank you guys very much. It's because of you guys we have guns and ammo and cool stuff on the channel, and if you want to support the channel, that's the best way to do it. Just go to the link in the description. Also in that description is a link to a local shelter in Ames, Iowa. It's the YSS. Those kids could really use your help, so please go down there and donate to those kids. And then finally, we want to thank the sponsor of this video, the Sonoran Desert Institute.
SDI is an accredited online college for those interested in pursuing a career in the firearms industry. Because it's online, you can learn from the comfort of your own home and get started on turning your passion for firearms into a career. Visit the link in the description below to get started on becoming your own boss or gaining the qualifications to put you ahead of the pack in the job market.
All right, let's talk about the Springfield Kuna. We'll go over what it is, what it's used for, what features it has, how it actually went in our testing, and then how the drop test and the reliability test and things like that went. Look at that shit. First off, the Springfield Kuna is a roller delayed pistol caliber carbine with a 6-inch barrel. It has a weight of only 4 pounds and 10 ounces, making it very lightweight. Sort of ideal for a bag gun or a truck gun or even a personal defense weapon inside your house or one you obviously carry around. It does come with a 30-round magazine capacity. It does come with 2 magazines, which is pretty nice. With 30 rounds of 9mm, you can get an awful lot done. Now, it's compared a lot to the MP5, and it should be because it's meant for the exact same purpose. Very small, lightweight pistol caliber subgun that you can use for personal defense. Other than being roller delayed, the Kuna goes about it a little bit differently. It has more modern features, I would say, over the MP5, and obviously it's a much more modern gun. Now, it's got Springfield on the name, but it's obviously made by HS Products in Croatia, and it is a military contract gun, not only serving in some military organizations, but in law enforcement organizations as well. Not only chambered in 9, but also chambered in 40, which I believe was the original cartridge. Now, one of the nice things about the Kuna being very new is that it has a lot of features we come to expect on modern guns. For example, it not only comes with iron sights, but it comes with 2 sets of iron sights. It comes with low pro pistol sights, and then it comes with a slightly lower than co-witnessing, I think around co-witness standard iron sights that you can actually adjust. I know some people were hitting on that in their reviews, but I actually like that it comes with it. Any sights are better than no sights. Also has a Picatinny rail up top. We have the 6-inch barrel here that came with a muzzle brake that we replaced with a tri-lug adapter mount. We also have an M-lock rail here. We have knurling on the grip so you can hold on to it. And then we have fully ambi controls. We have an ambi slide stop, an ambi magazine release, and an ambi safety. For all you left-handers out there, you're gonna like that. Flat face trigger, really, really nice trigger. More vertical angle on the grip as opposed to something like an MP5. We also have a Picatinny rail adapter on the back here, which is very useful for braces and stocks and etc., which we're definitely gonna go over here in a minute. Now on top, we were originally running the Vortex Spark or something like that, but that optic completely shit out on us multiple times.
I have no idea.
You scared the shit out of the target.
I have no idea.
Can you co-witness under that?
I don't know, can you?
Oh, hell yeah, you can.
Okay. You can see right under it.
Well, that's how we'll shoot it from now on because of Vortex. So I replaced it with the very expensive but venerable Aimpoint T2. We shot a lot with the standard configuration with the muzzle brake, and it did have very low recoil. Out of all of those rounds, we had 0 malfunctions, which is very impressive considering we used multiple types of ammunition, although mostly 115 grain Federal, which has kind of been our go-to lately. We also used some 115 Blazer, and we also used some 147 grain, although we didn't get to any hollow points, sadly. As far as reliability goes, I thought that was pretty impressive, especially for sub $1,000 pistol caliber carbine, which is really the appeal of this. You can get a roller delayed system, which is less than $1,000. If you compare that to the MP5 from H&K, they're usually around $2,000 to $3,000. Now, these days you can get imported Turkish clones for $1,000 to $1,500 on the MP5s, and I know everybody says they're made in HK tooling and they're exactly the same thing, but they're not exactly the same thing, or they'd be the same price. Is there a better pistol caliber carbine under $1,000 than that? Because the Strybog's not better than that.
I guess the only one I can think of, like, what's that X-Tac or whatever you used to have?
The XR?
Yeah.
That's like $500. I would say that's still better.
Is it?
But
I never
double the
shot
price.
that
And
one.
then you have what, the CZ Scorpion, which I would take that over the Scorpion just because of the recoil impulse.
100%.
And the trigger on that's
better.
way better, and the safety on that's way better. All right, that of the Scorpion.
Oh, this! I hate the Scorpion.
Right? Yeah.
I hate the Scorpion.
Yeah,
I'm sorry, CZ guys. I hate the Scorpion.
I love the Scorpion because of its simplicity and its reliability. Little bit less recoil with that, certainly a better set of controls. Other roller delayed pistol caliber carbines also come at a very high price. The MDP9 and my beloved JP5 are all $2,000 to $3,000. So the roller delayed system of the Kuna really only compares with one other gun on the market, and that's going to be the Strybog SP9A3. That look cool?
Yeah.
That is a Slovenian roller delayed pistol caliber carbine, very similar in not only geographic location, but also in the actual systems they use and the size and weight that they are. And at some point down the road, we'll probably do a direct head-to-head comparison, but not today. Today is just about the Kuna. On to accuracy. Accuracy was also pretty impressive. We shot this at some decent distances, 100 all the way out to 200 yards, and it had excellent accuracy.
Hit.
Okay, this should go really poorly.
Hit. 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 Hit.
A lot of people say there's very limited range on 9mm, and that is sort of true compared to rifles. To say you can't reach out there and poke something at 200 meters is definitely unreasonable. You could definitely reach out and touch something with this, especially if you know your drop. Now, I like these a lot for the main philosophy of use of A, a home defense gun, and B, a bag gun. These are really, really nice options. And a lot of people, again, will say not use 9mm, and I do recommend a 5.56 if you can, or 7.62 for a home defense gun, simply for a little bit more pop on target in case, you know, Michael Myers is running at you with a kitchen knife. But for almost every other situation, a 9mm will be just fine. On top of that, for newer shooters, they are very pointable, they're very shootable, they have way less blast, so they're not as scary when you shoot them. And on top of that, they are more economic to shoot. 9mm is usually less than half the cost of 5.56. Twice the trigger time is usually better. Makes you better with the gun, makes you more intuitive with the gun, and a smaller round on target is a hell of a lot better than a bigger round that missed. As I said before, these are around $1,000. They're about $999 MSRP, but they can be found all the way down to $800, making them extremely affordable, especially for the feature set that you get. Now, as far as ergonomics go and the actual use of the gun, that was a little bit less awesome, I would say. Some of the controls, because the gun is relatively cheap, do kind of suck a little bit. The Ambi magazine release is not the best, as most Ambi magazine releases are not. The controls are pretty sticky. Even after dozens of magazines, the safety is still extremely stiff and very difficult to take on and off. It's smooth, it's fast, it's reliable, but the safety kind of sucks. Which you do want tactile force there to push the safety on and off, but you don't want this much. Reminds me a lot of the CZ Scorpion, as a matter of fact. It seems like the Eastern European countries just don't give a shit about safeties. That being said, the bolt release works great. Charging handle over here is foldable and it works really well. Also, you can't slap it, but it's still pretty cool. It has an aluminum upper receiver here, which does get a little warm under sustained fire.
It's getting really hot right here.
And the real big issue with that is down here. I can't get like a good enough clamp down on it because this bottom area here gets so hot that without a glove, I can't like clamp on it. So I can't use a lot of recoil control with it. I'm kind of letting it bounce up and back down like, you know, like a shittier shooter would, I guess, because I don't really have enough surface. I know that down here apparently is where you're supposed to grab the gun, because it has like knurling for it right here, but you can't really get any recoil control like this. You got to get up and kind of control the front of the gun, and it's just not really letting me. You have very little surface area to put any actual attachments on. You can maybe fit a light on there with a very small pressure switch, but other than that, you have very limited rail space for anything else. If you put a suppressor on here and a vert grip, you're probably gonna hit your hand on the suppressor or blow your hand off, as you can see where my hand would be sitting. So a vert grip is pretty much out. I've seen a couple people run angle foregrips or hand stops, but primarily you have to grip the gun either like this, which tends to get very, very hot without a glove, or you come down here for the magwell grip, which is what most people do, and that actually limits your stability under rapid fire, and I personally don't like that, so I'd take the extra heat and actually hold onto the gun. That being said, I feel like maybe a slight redesign on the rail would be very nice. First off, these push pins I don't think have to come out this far. I saw on Grantham's video he was complaining about that. I agree with that as well. There's no real reason for this to be out that far. If we cut this down here a little bit like this, you could actually have a lot more space to put on a vertical vertical grip. Also, if we didn't angle it and we just cut it straight across, you could have more room up top for your hand as well. So I think a slightly longer rail, even pushing it out another 1/2 inch, adding a full M-lock slot back here for attachments would be a big help. So maybe somebody will do that someday, maybe they won't. These are a monolithic receiver, so you can't just take the handguards on and off like you can something like an AR. So other than that, the shooting ergonomics are actually pretty good. The pistol grip is great. The brace system worked well while we were shooting it, and the height of the gun as you present it feels great. The whole shooting experience of the Kuna is really, really nice.
Love this thing.
Especially for the price. It's rare that you find a gun that shoots this well and this quickly under $1,000.
Out of the box, like pound for price, this is the best option on the market.
Yeah, it's hard not to say that.
Yeah, I don't
It's hard not to say that. The question is, does it shoot like an MP5?
It's not an MP5.
No, it doesn't. The MP5 is a little bit heavier and it is a little bit smoother overall. Shoots sort of similar to an MP5K, except with a little bit more pop. Can you control it and shoot it quickly? Yeah, you definitely can. You can shoot it fast, you can shoot it accurately, and the gun is reliable. So overall, I would say that's a big win. But I have noticed a lot of durability issues with the Springfield Kuna, and that doesn't shock me all that much considering the price point and how much of this gun is actually made of polymer. The first issue that we saw on reviews that I didn't actually experience here is the magazine durability. I've actually seen a lot of people that have had issues with the magazine durability. Now, my magazines actually have steel feed lips on them, and I noticed that some of the magazines people had did not, so I'm not sure if they have replacement magazines or not. Maybe I'm out of the loop. But mine have the steel feed lips, and also mine didn't crack. And trust me, we tried. We actually did a concrete drop test on these with the magazines half loaded to simulate a tack reload to see if we could break them. All right, so now we're gonna be doing the drop test portion of this on the mag. So we're just gonna drop it shoulder height and see if we can break it a few times. All right, now the goal of this test is to test and see if the magazine will actually hold up to the abuse of this. I've seen a lot of reports online of these magazines breaking, so I figured I'd give it, 5 at least tries. We've got 10 rounds in this magazine to simulate a little extra weight. Let's say we're gonna tack reload and drop it on the ground each time, see if we can break it. And we couldn't break them, and that's really good because in the past, when I've shot in indoor shooting ranges, I've tack reloaded during competitions and dropped Glock mags and had them spray all over the place. MP5 magazines have not done that to me, and obviously neither of these. So that's pretty cool. Now I decided I would get cute and do a full drop test on the gun, considering that I thought the gun was a military contract gun, and they'd probably done a drop test on concrete before. I didn't figure it would be an issue, but I was wrong. And while we're here, I figured, screw it, we'll drop the gun. Brace came off.
Looks like it did break the back.
It did break. It broke the back Picatinny rail here. I was interested because the upper or the lower is polymer and the upper is aluminum. People always talk about how durable these things are, but apparently they're not that durable. So back here, as you can see, the back of the Picatinny rail slot, ooh, it's a little spider. Watch out, little spider. The back of the Picatinny rail slot back here is actually broken. I did bust 2 of the Picatinny rail slots off the back of the gun when we dropped the gun. When we dropped the gun, it hit pistol grip wise, hit the back of the brace, popped the brace off, and broke the back of the adapter here. Now, the reason why that broke is because this end plate here is polymer, and it's not like super polymer like the pistol grip is or like the lower is. They must have made this with a cheaper polymer in mind. On top of that, these rail slots are very small and very skinny, so even if the polymer was tough, a lot of force on it, you could probably still break it. Now, a lot of you are saying, why would you do that? Well, the reality is sometimes you do drop your gun, and sometimes you have to hit a guy with the butt of your gun. It happens sometimes. Military tests, usually, especially when they test stocks like Magpul or something like that, they will do 12-foot drop tests on concrete to make sure that the stock doesn't break and the tube doesn't bend or anything like that. So I would assume that HS Products did not do that because I dropped it like 4 feet and it broke on the first shot. So I would say overall durability is probably more of a 5 out of 10. Just simply because of all the polymer that's on here, all the stickiness of the controls. It seems like eventually if I shoot this long enough, other shit is gonna break too. Now finally, we did do a mud test. Now for a lot of you who saw the first shots, we did do it in the first shots, but I'll recap it here. It actually ran extremely well. Shut the f up. Cleared it, easy breezy. We actually caked the ejection port with 2 inches of mud almost when I stuck it in the ground. So much so that I almost felt bad about it, and the thing just chugged right through it. One of the best mud tests we've ever done on a gun. Now I think that's part of the reason why the recoil is a little bit more harsh than an MP5, to be honest with you. I think it's sprung to where it has a little bit more pressure going back and forth to kick a lot of that dirt and debris out, and that actually gives me a lot of confidence. I actually prefer a gun being slightly over gassed, so when it's dirty and when it's grimy and when I haven't lubed it in a little while, since I don't take care of guns very well, it'll actually run just fine. So I do prefer guns having a harsher recoil impulse for that very reason. Now, other than the breaking of the backplate, the gun functioned 100% through our testing, and it was actually pretty impressive. I would say that other than that issue, there's no other reason why I wouldn't recommend the Kuna. I mean, just don't drop it on the ground apparently, and you're gonna be fine. Treat it like a SIG 320. The reliability was awesome, the shootability was awesome, the price is pretty good, and on top of that, the gun actually looks really, really good as well. So I would have to give this gun probably a 9.5 out of 10. I honestly almost gave it a 10 out of 10 until we did the drop test and the backplate broke, but the reality is I'll probably just have to buy a new backplate, which I can't imagine is gonna be that expensive. If you wanna see me do any comparisons with this gun, they have really done the MP5 to death. There's like 50 videos comparing this to an MP5. If you wanna see maybe the Strybog, or if you wanna see the CZ Scorpion, or maybe something in its price point, like maybe the cheaper Turkish MP5s, let me know in the comment section below. If you like this video, please like and subscribe. Please stop by our Oklahoma shelters, and remember to recycle. I'll check you later.